I have heard a lot in the last 2 days and especially today. So I will not repeat all the learnings you got, but share with you how, as a general manager, having the chance to have met Chandra in India about 9 years ago, as I was doing an acquisition for IBM and for my own business unit, I was introduced to meditation. I knew nothing about it, really nothing. I thought it was just a way of doing nothing. So I was coming from far away. And the benefits I enjoyed so fast motivated me as an executive leader with influence in IBM and, of course, on my own team to share this experience, these benefits, and have people more happy in my organization, as well as being more performing inside the organization. So I could, at that time, with a performing business unit, convince other leaders and business units to do the same and start doing mindfulness and meditation. So I will share with you some learning about this journey. The first, of course, that everybody wants in the business is at the same time having our self-growth and at the same time having a good impact on the organization. And self-growth is at all levels of the organization because we want to enjoy what we are doing. We want also to get promoted. We want to make more money. We want to have an influence on the world. We want to make a difference. Many things that will make us feel we are growing ourselves. And optimum impact for the organization when we do that is, of course, having happier customers and stakeholders, investors, and so on. Being able to motivate and inspire teams and peers. Of course, it's very helpful for people management. We can have real impact on how we can change the process in the organization and be more agile, so we can be more effective and resilient. So that's all the things that motivates a business unit and an organization to look for ways to improve this overall ecosystem. And meditation for me was the key for that. It was the key to get to the perfect power that I call the power of awareness. For me, the revelation of meditation was really to become aware. It looks like simple, and you heard a lot about it. But, well, you are in a meeting, right, with colleagues, whatever the kind of profession you have. Somebody is making a remark about you, maybe criticizing what you have just done. Well, in the past, I would feel like a 12 years old, losing all my means, not knowing what to do, maybe even willing to cry. After meditation, I could really have this freedom between what happened and my response. And in this little instant where you can have control on your emotion, on yourself, when you know yourself, and you remember that you are an adult with expertise and you can absolutely handle this situation calmly with a real response. So when you have this ability in all situations, at all levels of the organization, it creates a complete different atmosphere, a climate, and a culture that is, empowering everyone, engaging everyone in the organization and for themselves. That's what I call mindful leadership. And I will share, 3 main learning for me, for my own practice as a general manager, as well as for the thousands of people I was able to introduce meditation to. And the first one was about emotional intelligence. We talk a lot about, intellectual, quotient or intelligence quotient, but emotional quotient is, very key in any organization. And this is just, possible to grow for yourself with the power of meditation. Because you learn this awareness, you learn to identify your own emotion, and you learn also how to identify what people around you are feeling. You can really feel them feeling, and you can, of course, understand their emotion and their needs. I have seen so many meetings, for instance, where, the worst case was, you are in a meeting with clients or with stakeholders or even with colleagues, and people are talking to clients, but they are watching their phone every 2 minutes. The problem here is that they don't even realize that they are doing it. They are not aware. Okay? And when you are in a room like that and you have practiced meditation and mindfulness and you see somebody doing it, including if it's your own boss talking to your client, you feel very bad because you are at that time, thanks to meditation, very aware of what's going on and very aware of the irritation that the client is starting to grow because it doesn't feel like he's taken care of. And the key of this is not judging about it. It's just that the person who is doing this, watching the phone, is not aware, is not conscious about it. So this kind of things is very key when you meditate. You learn these skills of being aware and you grow your emotional intelligence, your empathy. You listen better, you communicate better. Of course, it builds relationship more easily. You are also much more aware of multicultural differences and you can benefit from them. You have this intelligence which make a global job, enjoyable, but also much more productive. Of course, people feel more empowered. And at the end of the day, you can use productive management. Instead of being the bossy boss, always authoritative, you can select consciously, thanks to your practice of meditation, what kind of style of management will I use with this sub-team? Or in this situation, there is an outage, emergency, I will be authoritative and give order. There is the decision to make to be more effective on this process. I will be a democratic manager. There is a newcomer in the team. I will be the coach manager. So all of this, again, is coming together. I could see more collaboration between the countries because I had so many. I had, 60 countries to manage at the same time for the same goal. Of course, when a country is sleeping and needs, to wake up at 2 a.m. because another one at the end of the world need the help, you have this collaboration, that has to be deep, deep in the culture of everyone in the team. And that's what I could see meditation practice and mindfulness bring to my own team. So emotional intelligence, and I encourage everyone to learn more about this. The second one, and we heard a lot, about it actually, in the previous speakers, but how do you apply that to organization? We talk a lot about growth mindset. We have two ways of looking at learning. And this is just basic belief system that we were given by our own, parents or grandparents, our environment and teachers. The fixed mindset as a belief is that you were born with your own talent. You were born with your own, skills, inherent skills. And it comes with the family. This family was always good in music, so you will be good in music. But we were never good at mathematics, so you will not be good at mathematics. It comes with your birth. So that's a lot of people, believing this is true. And that, they're going to be good because my mom was good at that, or because I was told I am good at that. And I will never be able to go on stage and, talk to people and be a speaker. Well, We all have some fixed mindset. And the key, as a mindful leader, is first to realize that you can become more of a growth mindset instead of stay in your fixed mindset, and you can take new challenge. But in addition, for your own sake, you also help people understand that they can go away from their own fixed mindset and develop a growth mindset. And a growth mindset is what we think. And we heard, this morning about, all the neurons we can use and train with practice. We can do whatever we want if we make the effort, if we practice it. We are not fixed. Our brain, our neuroplasticity allows us to do, infinite possibilities. And I have, thanks to that, see people understand better that, okay, it's okay to fail. I fail, I learn, I move to something else, for instance. It's good to have mentoring, because some people will give me more advice on how to grow. Where did I, where did I fail? Why? How to change that and not repeat it, and how to maybe learn a new skills to be better at that. I have also seen people completely changing, their career. I have seen assistants, working for a boss and being bored to become, salespeople, and very good salespeople, very organized because they were assistant. But they took the step with confidence that they could speak in front of someone. They had done it forever, but without realizing that it could become, really a growth opportunity for them. I have seen people that were told, you will never leave India. You will work in India, you are in Bangalore, you will stay in Bangalore, but taking jobs outside of India, and jobs sometimes not exactly the way they were doing in India, but in new challenges, and be very happy about it. So when you are a mindful leader, because you have applied this to yourself, you can help people also, do that for themselves. And we heard this morning for the kids and the adolescents, the teenagers. That's the best gift that parents can give to their kids. It's developing for them this growth mindset. Okay, they start learning bicycle, they fall, but yes, you can do it, and congratulate them and encourage them. Okay, you don't think you sing very well, except in your shower. Well, you can try. Join the choral at the school. Okay, and just help as parents to congratulate the effort, to help on the failure, and to encourage to go further. So that's very key, and you can get tremendous progress inside a team with new skills, new capabilities. Of course, I was in the IT, business, so the technology is changing all the time. So you need people to change fast and to accept new challenges. Otherwise, at some point they will be obsolete. So it's critical, it's vital for a mindful leader to realize that it's possible to take somebody from here and move them to there. I had to. This was something that was for me life-changing. This is something I was sharing with everybody. This is how you become from a victim without even being conscious that you are feeling a victim. You will never pronounce "I am a victim," but actually you are feeling one. To becoming an explorer. As an example, after working with Chandra in India and having a tremendous year, of course, he had taught me meditation. We were, encouraging people to learn how to meditate and discover mindfulness, and our organization was working super well. So I was so happy after 1 year like that. Our results were over the roof. And suddenly my big boss come to me in the middle of a conference and say, okay, in January, you had a tremendous year. In January, you are going to do another job. Oh, but I don't want to leave my other job. So before meditation, I would be kind of disappointed, frustrated, everything like, why is it happening to me? Did I do something wrong? Instead of that, thanks to meditation, the only thing that came to my mind is, wow, that's a new adventure. What is the universe, willing me to do? These new experiences, new people, new challenges. So you help people and yourself, changing your reaction in front of every situation as, I'm not a victim. There is something I need to learn here. And there is probably, something that will lead me to something else. So let's explore and let's take the most of it, make the most of it. And that's how the mindful leader can progress and, take the company, the organization with him or her. The last one I want to share is, a very important concept about unconscious bias. And I know I talked already about that in few meetings, but it's very dear to my heart because it was also, a discovery for me that was made possible by meditation. Because you need to be aware that you have everybody has unconscious biases. They will admit it or not. They will discover it thanks to meditation or never, if they don't do the effort. But we have the key to understand in unconscious bias. You see about gender, race, religion, even the weight, the name, the beauty of people. In an organization, you may lose great opportunity of hiring some people because you have this in mind. And science has shown it's true. One of the funny things, for instance, is that, you see this cartoon about, the big guy and the small guy. Well, it was studied that in the US population, only 14.5%, 14.5% of all men, the men, are about 6 feet and over. Okay? But in a Fortune 500, it's 60%, actually 58% who are above 6 feet high. Well, why? And I remember one of my leaders at some point, he was not 6 feet, but he told me, well, I will never be a senior VP, or I will never be the CEO. And I say, why are you saying that? You are like 45, you are, thriving, you are very intelligent, smart, you are a great manager. He said, because I am too short. He was a US guy. And I am too short, so nobody will give me a chance to go so far. So, this is unconscious bias. And we have to work, to resolve them in a sense, or to limit their impact. This other cartoon is me in front of my manager when I was, something like 35 years old. My manager at that time wanted me well. He wanted me to be, happy and have job satisfaction. But the only thing he was seeing in me was I had 2 young kids. So how could he give me a risky job or challenging job or a job where I needed traveling? On the other hand, on my side, I had the appetite for it and I was organized for it. My husband was okay. I had the people helping me and I wanted to try something new. So unconscious bias, usually, when we are conscious, are against our value. We will say, well, I am for diversity, of course. I want to help women to thrive. But when you are confronted to real life, suddenly these unconscious bias are coming back. And you will react differently in front of a woman asking for a new challenge than in front of a man asking for a new challenge. And it does apply to men and women. So it's something that you will learn as a mindful leader that will be facilitated, if I may, by meditating and being aware. This ongoing mindfulness that helps you stay aware. And for the organization, it's really critical because I have seen so many organizations where teams are like all the same people. They come from the same school or the same place or the same type. They think the same way. How can you innovate? That's also an unconscious bias, is to hire people that looks like you. Or, this confirmation bias, which is, well, I have an idea. I think it's a great idea. What do? Unconsciously, I collect all information that is going in the same way that I think. So I will be able to demonstrate I'm right. Instead of asking, for instance, my team for various opinions. And the more my team is diverse, the more I will get different opinions, and we can make a real good decision for the organization. And that's how we innovate. We cannot innovate when we have, conformity or confirmation bias and so on. So a mindful leader at all levels of organization needs to be aware of this. And when you have the emotional intelligence growing, the growth mindset growing, this unconscious bias more in control, and people aware, then you can have an organization embracing inclusiveness, the real one.
Laurence,
yes?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes. So I'd like to conclude if possible. Sorry for coming in, because since there is an important session.
Yeah. It is my last one.
Thank you.
So everybody here can do it. Introduce meditation to your organization. My advice here, leverage enterprise programs. Try to be inside all the programs. It can be communication, leadership, whatever you can find. And always measure benefits. That's how you will make your way up to the top, by demonstrating that, by introducing mindfulness and meditation, you have increased employee satisfaction, results, anything you can find, to convince people to keep going and scale meditation in organization. Thank you so much.
For more details about Project Excellence, write to us at excellence@buddhaceo.org.